I'm Christina Moore. I've met many of you the other evening, and for those that I didn't, it's good to virtually meet you. I am the board president here as of January or late December, I guess. Before that, I was the treasurer of the board. Do we want to just go around and introduce ourselves first, or you want to jump into some icebreaker questions, or how do we want to, what do you think? Should we wait just a couple more minutes, or?
Yeah, well, everybody knows me and Lindsay knows me. So, I am Cheryl. I am the, newly appointed, I'm still a new kid on the block, I guess, at, the Humane Society. Came in early August, and I'm very proud to be here, and thank you so much for joining us today.
And since we didn't go to the meet and greet, hey guys, so I'm Jed Kaler. I'm the program director now. I started in 2014 as the shelter manager, and then kind of progressed to what you see today. So now I oversee the surgery center and the adoption center and the programs that kind of come out of that. And so we'll talk about that a little bit today. And if you ever want to know more about what we do, because it's not represented wholeheartedly in the orientation, feel free to stop by or email me. And I've got a lot of numbers I like to share with people. So
I'm Cronwell Leon. I'm our marketing and communications manager. And I play a very supportive role, but don't underestimate me. I definitely help amplify the revenue generation of all of our departments that are bringing in money, and hopefully only bringing in more.
Will, how about you?
Okay, I'm Will McCraney. I'm our Director of Philanthropy. I've been here since May of last year, and I really just focus on the fundraising, making sure we have some extra money.
Woo.
Kendall.
Yes, it's my turn. My name is Kendall Hoyt. I am the Director of Finance and Operations. I've been here since Will's been here, so last May. And I kind of just make sure all of our money is squared away, and that we're spending it appropriately, and that it's going where it needs to go to help the pets and keep
Don't
things
sell
running
yourself
smoothly.
short.
She does everything.
Well, while Lindsay maybe hasn't seen my message yet, so hey, Carol, why don't you start off the new cohort? Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Carol Bittner, and I am excited to be a new board member. I'm looking forward to doing whatever I can to help, and learning as much as I can. I'm an animal lover, don't have any in my home, but actually when I stopped by to pick up the USB cable thing this morning, I just enjoy seeing the animals and supporting you guys. I sell real estate and with Keller Williams, Greater Athens. And my partner and I, Jarrett Martin, and I started about 3 years ago giving 10%. We let our clients choose their closing gifts of a 10% donation to a nonprofit that they choose. And so you guys have been on our list, and we've enjoyed getting to give money to you. And now I'm just carrying it to the next step.
Oh, thank you.
That's awesome.
We appreciate just recently got checks from you guys.
We love gift
so thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to learning as much as I can, and just being a help, with whatever you need.
Thank
that
you.
I can do.
Hey, Dawn, how about you?
Did you say me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I thought you said Dawn. Hi, everyone. I am Dawn Porter, and I'm one of the new board members as of this month. Had a nice conversation with Cheryl back in December, and I, like Carol, am an animal lover, and I'm looking forward to helping in ways that I can and learning more. I've been trying to read over this material with the orientation packet, and then with our board meeting tomorrow, and I really enjoyed meeting some of you last, I want to say that was last Thursday, and I'm excited about the new things with the Humane Society, the new facility that's going to be opening this spring. And yeah, I'm just excited about all of that. I wasn't born in Athens, but I grew up in Athens, and I moved back in 2014. So I love Athens, and I just think the Humane Society is a great part of Athens, and I'm looking forward to being involved with it.
Welcome.
Hey, Jason, how about you?
Hey, I'm Jason Leonard, also a new board member. You know, all the same things, animal lover, got 2 dogs at my house, had another dog that passed a couple years ago, 15 years old, but love all animals. Got some board experience. I'm a small business owner in downtown. I've been a business owner in downtown since 1999. I serve on a few other boards around the county, the Homeless Coalition and the Downtown Development Authority. I'm currently the chair of the Downtown Development Authority. So, you know, Cheryl reached out to me, and I did a little, you know, background and prying around about the Humane Society, and everyone had good things to say. So, you know, hopefully I can, you know, bring some skills, you know, definitely here to help in any way, shape, or form possible, you know.
Woo. We'll find something.
Yeah. I bet the-
Hey, Tom, how about you?
Well, I'm Tom Spencer, and sorry I missed the meet and greet last week. Would have been a good opportunity. And as with everyone else, I'm looking for the post-COVID world to arrive sooner rather than later. A little bit on my background. I had a career with Ford Motor Company, kind of moving all over the country. They would move us every few years, and took an early retirement from them in 2008, and then moved to Athens, and was working with Carrier Transical. There's a plant in town that Carrier has. Ever since then until September 1st, when I just retired. So I'm finding that I've got some time and some opportunity to get involved in some volunteer activities. And I actually had some discussions with Tom Kenyon, who had worked with Cheryl, and I think all of the folks at the Humane Society real well. And I see some clapping of hands there for Tom. He's a great guy. So,
great guy.
Anyway, my background's kind of is business related, and you know, kind of wide ranging experience in both of those companies. So looking forward to help any way I can.
That's awesome. Welcome.
Got it. Excellent. And Lindsay, welcome.
Are we answering a specific question? I think I missed.
Oh, thank you. Just introduction. How are you today?
I'm great, thanks. Yeah, I'm Lindsay Woodard. I'm an attorney at Fort St. Million Griffin, and I'm excited to be here.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Christina, I am trying desperately to share my screen. I'm not the most savvy at Zoom, as most everybody on this knows. Let's see.
I think so.
Share my
I
screen.
was curious.
Share screen. Okay, here we go.
Oh, it's the green button.
Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Hit the slideshow button.
Where is that?
I don't know.
Present.
Yeah, do present maybe.
Present. Let's see about that. Hey, that looks promising. Woohoo!
Cool.
All right. So just so everybody knows, we're recording this so we can all reference it later. If you want a refresher, or there's something that you want to review again, please feel free. So Christina, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Perfect. I will make this short and sweet, but I just want to once again say welcome to everybody. I'm so excited you're here. This board has changed significantly in the past year and a half since I've started on it, and it has come with big changes at the Humane Society too. But it's all been extremely positive. A lot of the hard work has been done and there's some more hard work to do, but we are excited to have you here, and we're excited to just see what this new building and this year is going to hold for us. And it feels good to be like, I've never been so excited as I am now. So just to do a little icebreaker question, I know we want to be conscious of everybody's time today, so I'm going to try to talk kind of fast. But just what inspired you to serve on the board? And I'll go first. So for me, I've always had a passion for animal welfare and happiness, specifically for pets and companion animals. I have lived in Athens for about 8 years, and I kind of bounced around and did projects for different organizations like United Way, Keep Athens Beautiful, even like AthFest, some little things there. But when somebody approached me, a former board member approached me about joining this board, I knew that's where I would fit. So I'm super excited to be here. This feels like home. You guys it's going to be great bringing everybody on. And if we want to go around and quickly answer this question for all of our new members. Any volunteers on who wants to go first? Or I know it's hard to volunteer on Zoom, but I'm gonna try with my people.
I guess I can jump in. I'll just reiterate, what I mentioned a minute ago about my inspiration. I think was Tom Kenyon. I mean, we know each other. We're good friends, and he knows I'm an animal lover. And as with my pending retirement, he's been planning all sorts of things for me to do. In fact, when I retired, he gave me a 2-inch binder with a list of things that he thought.
That's
so I'm kind of working through the binder, but this was at the top of the list, and so he made the connection with Cheryl, and the rest is history.
I'll go next. I had the same experience with. I know Tom Kenyon, and anything that Tom Kenyon's involved with, he's just such a positive, great guy. And then when speaking with Cheryl, she was so positive, and I just think I'm at a stage in my life where I want to give back to the community and be involved with good causes and good organizations, and this happens to be one of them.
I'm basically in the same situation. I've always been an animal lover, always had a mixture of cats and dogs and lots of kids and all that in my household. And now I don't have any, and I won't have any anymore, but that's why I'm wanting to give back. I love animals, and I figure that there's a lot I can do to help them find homes and, volunteer helping, whatever it needs to be done. I am totally a pet lover. I just, at this stage of my life, I don't want to have one in my house, but not that is, my partner's allergic to them. And so I really can't. So I've got to get my fixes by being around them in any way I can, and also helping this organization grow and just learning more about it and becoming more proactive in the community. I've always been a workaholic, and I think right now is the time that I'm trying to mix that up a little bit and become more of a part of the community and give back where it's really important, not just monetarily, but, with my heart and soul.
Awesome.
How about you, Lindsay?
So, see, my husband and I both grew up in town. And I think I just graduated from law school in 2019. Now that this is where we're going to be, been thinking about communities or organizations to get involved with in the community and what that would look like. And I've always grown up with animals. We have 2 dogs right now that we love more than anything in the world. And so I was really, really excited when I connected with Cheryl through Kim Chambers and Bert Whitmire, who I work with here at Fort St. and Griffin. I don't think there is a cause that I would be more excited about. And then the more I've gotten to know y'all and learned about what's going on with the Humane Society right now. I think it's a really exciting time to get involved, and I'm just really thankful to be here.
Cool. I agree with Christina. This is by far the most exciting organization I've personally been involved with. We have had a long and storied history in our community, and it evolved a lot over that 121 years of existence. Can you believe this? And I'm so delighted that you've joined this board at this time to be a part of something really exciting in the community. We just recently modified the mission of the organization to reflect something that's less operational and sort of in the weeds, and reflects a more broad service model of what we're trying to accomplish, and something a little more aspirational. So the mission as it stands right now, you are the first to hear about it since we just ratified this in December. I'm having a, how can I change this view? There we go. We rescue and protect companion animals by providing for their well-being, uniting them with loving homes through our adoption services, and advocating for a compassionate society. And that's really where the aspirational component comes in. So, you know, we have do goals, and we talk about this all the time. Our do goals are the things that we do on a day-to-day basis to make sure that we're operating in the public trust. And then our aspirational vision of creating a compassionate society and envisioning a society where all dogs and cats have a loving home, and the bond between pets and people are celebrated. We hope to accomplish that in our lifetimes and put us out of a job. That would be great. So, and why that's important to us is that, you know, this is probably wouldn't surprise you to know that this is a very emotionally charged, sometimes emotionally draining, often emotionally uplifting line of work. And so the more that we ground ourselves in those aspirational ways of serving our community and connecting, you know, with the inspirational things that make our heart sing, it always reminds us of the bigger why of what we do, and really embeds us in that. And we do that through always being connected with our values as a group, as a lead team, our frontline staff, and working with our board. We agreed on some really key core values and then anchored them to certain behaviors. So what we value most are compassion. So we place a premium on relationships and the role that they play in every aspect of our work. That is grounded in integrity. We act with integrity to uphold the ethical, responsible, and honest conduct in all aspects of our work in a manner consistent with applicable laws, honest and fairness. We put the team first through teamwork is a very central tenet of how we operate at the Humane Society. And if you ever, I hope you will very soon, come to the shelter, you will see that expressed in everything that we do. Any individual's success is inextricably linked to the success of the team. And we support each other in a positive and productive service model. And then we inspire our greatest potential, individual and collective, through a servant leadership way of moving through the world through our work. We inspire others to action and anchor ourselves to the essential why of our purpose. You will find these tenets, our value statements, in your board packet and those anchoring behaviors, but we really consider that a valuable expression. And those are not something that we just share with people and then forget. We talk about them robustly and frequently with each other, with our team and our frontline staff, to make sure that when it comes time to a critical decision, or we're looking for a compass point in how to act, we always anchor ourselves to those values, and we remind ourselves of how important they are. As I sort of hinted to a moment ago, the Athens Area Humane Society has been around since 1899. Can you believe it? We are one of the most beloved and well-known nonprofits in the service sector in our community. Probably right along there with some churches, a hospital, UGA itself, YMCA, and then there's the Humane Society. And so to be a board leader of the Humane Society is meritorious, and it's a badge of honor in this community. And I hope that you will see yourselves as an amazing and significant brand ambassador in our community. We started out in 1899. We submitted a charter in 1900, get this, to prevent the cruel treatment to children, protect them from vice and excess or dangerous labor, and to aid in the enforcement of laws of said state enacted for the protection of dumb animals, so from cruel treatment. So of course, in that time, you know, dumb just meant that there wasn't a recognition of the sentience of conscious will and any sort of social behavior or feelings of animals at that time. And I really, I point that out to link the vulnerable protection of children and animals, because it reminds us. I'm not going to mention anything about dumb animals right now, Kendall. It reminds us of how important it is for us to herald the brand of protecting vulnerable sectors of our society. And certainly children and animals are among those most vulnerable populations. And so to be stewards of both of those at one time in our history is really important. In 1970, we incorporated officially, and not surprising, as a lot of humane society sort of evolved from the animal control, the pound model. That was certainly a part of our story to history right up until about 1989, when we incorporated officially as a 501c3 organization. We leased the Beaver Dam Road Shelter from the county and shared a conjoined model of animal control through that service model. And at some point, we did receive funds from the county as well to implement that service. Up until that point, we were not a no-kill shelter. And so my understanding, Jed, you can correct me, but at that time, the euthanasia to adoption rate was as high as 4-1. You'll see this in the brief history of the Humane Society in your packet. And so that's depressing. And so now we are a no-kill organization, which simply means that we're open admission. That's, you know, I would really like for us to get away from that depressing language. We're an open admission shelter, and with a 90%, what, Jed, help me out with language here. It's 90%.
Yeah, so
live
yeah,
release
and
rate.
our a lot of shelters measure the success of the programs and things as live release rates, so animals making it out alive and not necessarily euthanized. So I'd say we're probably around 100%, honestly, because we typically we don't take in a lot of like owner surrendered euthanasia requests. You know, we don't get the hit by cars on the side of the road because it's a legal issue. That's something that, you know, the veterinarian and animal control, that kind of stuff. But we rescue them from shelters, municipal shelters that don't have the space nor the staff or the resources to find homes for them all or care for their illnesses.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'll skip over a lot of that. In 2009, we purchased the Zeus House, which is what you see there on your screen. You pass it probably a lot on Mars Hill Road. And we are quickly going to sell this property so that we can move into 1030 Mitchell Bridge Road. I would be delighted to host a socially distanced tour. Jason, you've already seen it. Please join us in that. It's very exciting. With that, I'm going to turn the table over to Jed. Jed, whenever you want a slide advance, just let me know.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, There's a lot to unpack. Like I said, I've been with the Humane Society since 2014. So a little bit of what I walked into when I started and kind of where we are now, just so you kind of have an understanding of that. When I started, we only did cats. There was no dogs really in the program. If they did dogs, it was maybe 5 in the year. We did about 30 adoptions a month. That's about 300 or so a year. And that kind of honored our previous history with animal control. We branched off because we didn't like the large euthanasia numbers of the cat population. The county really only was interested in the dogs and all the things associated with the dogs. And so we kind of branched off as the cat people, if you will. And so we started that way. We kind of tried dogs over the years from records that I've found, but it was never hugely successful. And there's a lot of other rescue groups in Athens that do only dogs or dogs and cats now. Athens Canine for one of them. And so there's a lot of assistance in Athens, teamwork in Athens, so that kind of everybody found their niche in that way. So as far as the programs go, the adoption center in particular, currently growing from that 300 a year number, we do on average about 100 adoptions a month. Most of those, I'd say 70% of them are in the shelter. People see the pet, take it home that day, foster to adopt. Kind of whatever that scenario plays out for them. And then we also have adoption events at Subaru and other places when COVID wasn't happening. We would go out into the community at least once a week, if not more, and we would do a lot of adoptions that way. PetSmart every weekend, which we haven't done in over a year, depresses me, but we've been doing well for what this year has presented us. So around 100 adoptions a month. That's a little over 1,000 a year. That's on average. And our best year, I think we hit almost 1,500 adoptions. So I try to average out our good years and our bad years. And that's about what we do currently. We obtain them from local municipal agencies, so animal controls, government, pounds, things like that. Some counties still don't have animal controls, if you can believe it, especially in Georgia. So those places, Oglethorpe County, for instance, those places just, they have nothing. Basically, the residents are left to wonder what to do with their pets. So those are opportunities that we can possibly dive into. Madison Oglethorpe is one of our partner shelters that we work with, and they also service that county. And up until recently, the county was paying for that service, but I digress. So yeah, we pull from places like that. We can take owner surrenders of pets. So if owners find themselves moving, or if the landlord wants the dog gone, or breed restrictions, weight restrictions, whatever it may be, we will take pets in, unwanted litters from people that don't understand spay neuter and the concept of the overpopulation issue that we're basically addressing with our existence. And so those are the two avenues we typically get them from. And then we also assist in disaster relief. So the far left picture is Gibby. Stacy used to volunteer and work for us years ago, but she lives in Gainesville, so the commute became a problem. But she fostered a lot of our really sad, very needy pets over the years. So Gibby was a part of a cruelty case and, starved and completely emaciated, as you can see in the picture. And so Stacy took her home and fattened her up. I typically put the follow-up picture of her in her Santa Claus outfit because it was Christmas then. But she found a great home, and that's the kind of legwork we do behind the scenes that we hope to promote more of in our donor offers and just our communications with the public in general. We've been really lax at telling the story, and so that's something that I think speaks to who we are as an organization, but we've never really displayed because it's kind of our heart on the chopping block, if you will. The center picture is a disaster relief when the hurricane hit. I think this was 2016, possibly 17, I can't remember. And so we worked with Fur Kids in Atlanta to transport, I think we got 18 cats off of this flight, but we've done hurricane relief because we've had so many pretty much every year up until this year, of course, or COVID last year. And so that's something that we'll definitely do more of in the coming years. And then the puppies on the far right, we're at an animal control, so litters of puppies. This is just a common occurrence that we see all the time. And so this is kind of our bread and butter. We do a lot of puppies and kittens. So just to give you an idea of kind of what the overpopulation problem looks like. our goal with the adoption center is to increase our monthly pet adoptions. So about 2.5 times the space for the animals that we currently house is going to be the footprint in the new building, but also our foster program kind of backs that up with a lot of foster homes. I think we have around 100 active homes at any given time that also take in pets. So that's been our saving grace with the adoption facility being so small, and how we were able to ramp up a lot of our programs. So we started fostering, we started outreach, we brought in dogs, and just kind of opened the doors. And, you know, we went from 300 to 1,400 adoptions. So it was quite crazy. So we do a lot of cool stuff with the adoption center, and that's only gonna grow. Next slide, yeah. So the other main program that we offer is the low cost, high volume spay neuter center. And so we sterilize on average prior to COVID, of course, around 300, 350 dogs and cats per month. That was on average about 4,000 or so a year, depending on the year and kitten season and rescue needs, things like that. It kind of ebbs and flows, but that was our general average. In this coming year, we plan to increase that with the onboarding of our new staff and the new space, and just having a completely different rethought model of how we actually offer these services to the public. We're hoping to hit about 600 surgeries monthly, and that's roughly around 7,000 a year. So just our space will double, our veterinarian staff basically has doubled, and so we're hoping it shouldn't be. And we're also going to be open Fridays as well. So instead of 4 days a week, 30 animals a day, we'll be doing 5 days a week, 40 animals a day. So just that tiny bump in days open will definitely progress us to that point. And we used to do pet care clinics prior to COVID. So we would have a shot clinic in Pet Supplies Plus once a month. And that serviced about 60 pets, maybe plus or minus on average per visit. And those were for rabies shots, you know, flea tick medication, things like that. But now that we will have our new facility, we will actually have 3 exam rooms. We will have a low-cost wellness center. So anybody that was using those services, anybody that adopts from us, the local rescue community uses us primarily as their veterinarian as well. So animal control, other rescues, pretty much anyone that needs spay and neuter surgery comes to us if they don't go to their regular veterinarian for that. So we will be able to capture a lot of those returning clients with the new wellness center, because it won't be once a month, it'll be daily. So we hope to see a lot of growth out of that. Some recent updates with our surgery center and just wellness stuff is that we recently acquired an IDEX blood work machine. So now we can do pre-surgery blood work to make sure the pets are safer. We will save a lot of in-house vet costs for the adoption center with that as well. So we also will have dental and x-ray capabilities in the new building. So we pretty much will be able to treat all of our animals, diagnose all of our basic issues within the shelter itself. So that will save us a tremendous amount of time and money going to other doctors, but also it'll help add value to our services in the surgery center as well, because now we can offer that to our rescue partners and the general public, which is pretty unheard of. So
Amazing.
yeah, and then for the pictures, the left side is Kaylee is our RVT in the blue hat, and then that's Annabelle, one of our vet assistants. So that's a dog on the table being prepped for a spay, and so we do spays and neuters every day for public and privately owned pets. The center picture is cat cages. So we do a lot of TNR, trap, neuter, return. We work closely with Campus Cats that manages a lot of feral colonies on campus on UGA, and she also helps to spread the word about TNR just in Athens in general. So we do a lot of feral cats. Most veterinarians don't even answer the phone for a feral cat appointment. So we're proud to offer that, and we will only grow that program and those initiatives moving forward. And then on the far right, I felt like this was a cool representation of, just like Cheryl said, the teamwork that goes into making what we do every day possible. The veterinarians on the floor, you know, examining some new pets that came in. One of the adoption counselors is holding pets for pictures, you know, the vet assistants, Cronwell, taking the photos for social media. So this is how we promote those services. All right, thanks.
Say, Jed, anything else?
Oh, no, sorry. I was like, did it freeze? And then all of the extracurricular things that come out of those two particular programs. The Adoption Center has hosted summer camps for kids. We offer a food bowl program that you can see on the right. The Northeast Georgia Food Bank donates thousands of pounds of food for that program and has been for about the last year and a half now pretty consistently. When we were in the current facility prior to the construction, we actually were able to host a couple of drive-through chunk the pet food in the back of your trunk safe drive-through pickup days, which was really cool. So the new building will offer us a lot of flexibility, especially if COVID for some reason resurges. But we offer food to families that might be financially strapped for cash and can't afford it. So preventing pets from coming into the shelter in the first place is part of that double-edged sword of community education. And so we can help feed your pets, we can spay and neuter them so you don't have to bear the burden of additional litters. We can help support you with cheap vaccines and supportive care resources in the community to basically make sure that the people and the pets are living their best life. And there's Cronwell. I found an old picture of us going to a school. So we used to take puppies and kittens to school. So a lot of this stuff, because of COVID, kind of died down a little bit, but in the new facility and hopefully in the new year and by 2022, a lot of these programs will be fully fledged, operational, robust game changers, as I say. But yeah, we do a lot of things. We branch out as much as we can, and in the new facility, things can only get better and improve and grow with the team that we have. Awesome. I think there might be one more. Oh, well, two more, sorry. So our volunteer program, basically we have around 1,000 individuals that sign up every year. They come in, they walk the dogs, they help in surgery, they do community service for speeding tickets, things like that. But we do group days, there's school groups, fraternities, businesses, whoever wants to come and help us do something, we pretty much can offer an opportunity for that. And with our new veterinarian volunteer coordinator, we have an intern, Jessica, who is going to help us formalize and really institute a very robust community of volunteers that will support our staff in ways that I don't think we've ever thought possible. And especially in the new place and the increases in the parking spaces, we will be able to have everyone over for dinner if we want to, basically. And that was a huge limiting factor to our growth in this building currently, was just the parking. And so having that is going to expand this really awesome program to levels I don't think I could have even imagined. So, yeah. And then finally, another program that kind of goes a little under noticed, but does a huge impact and will only grow in impact in the future is our transport program. So in the new facility, we do have a 3-bay garage, which was kind of intentionalized for, well, it was awesome for transport. So we put 80 to 100 cats, 40 to 50 dogs in a van. We strap them in with all of their hammocks and food bowls and whatever they need for the ride up north. And we bus them to multiple facilities, other humane societies, rescue groups in the Northeast and New England. I think Michigan and Ohio have been a place as well recently, but they go everywhere. Currently, just in the last week and a half, our van has gone out 4 times for transport. It kind of snowballed over the last few days. So every time it goes out, we save, somewhere between 50 and 100 lives. I used to personally load the van. So on the right side, you can see all the cage cards for their destinations. There's a lot of import requirements for Department of Agriculture rules per state, that sort of stuff. So I was kind of in charge of getting the list, working with the rescue, stocking the van, and making sure all the paperwork was in order. But this is a huge way to get animals out and alive of our partner shelters that might be a little more higher kill than most. And that way we don't specifically have to adopt them out. So it's a great avenue kind of around our shelter system, but still gets them out alive and helps our partners. So, but yeah, it's an awesome program. I think that's it.
Kendall. Oh,
okay.
That's a tough act to follow, Kendall.
I know, and I
went
only have
over my
one
time.
slide. I'm sorry. I don't really have a bunch for y'all. But the pie chart it's for the total of last year. And y'all will receive stuff like this in your board packets every other month. That kind of just shows you a breakdown of where the money came from. And then you'll get the expense one too, but I didn't want to throw that at you because revenue's more fun than expenses are. But yeah, just it'll give you a good breakdown of where the money came from and what we did spend money on. We've spent a long time on the budget and really compiled that all together. It was very collaborative, and so we have a good idea of where the money's going to go and hopefully how we're going to make it. And so I did want to highlight a couple of our major foundation and corporate funders. The Turner Family Foundation here in Athens is a consistent funder for us. They're great. And then Subaru, Jed kind of fostered that whole relationship and partnership, and it's been amazing. We even during the pandemic, we've been able to host events there for adoptions. And I want to say the first one, Jed could barely get out of his car because people were surrounding him wanting to adopt like right then and there. And then with the Georgia State Department of Ag, we get grants through them. We just recently got one. I don't know enough about it to really go into it, but it's definitely going to be helpful for spay neuter for the public. And lastly, Jack Tarver. He is a capital campaign contributor mostly. I don't know if y'all have seen our van recently with the wrap on it, but that was all him as well. So we really appreciate him. And then so y'all kind of have a clearer picture. The operational budget for 2021 is 1.9 million. But even with that, we still came out in the black according to our calculations. So hopefully we can keep that and do some good.
Thank you, Kendall. Everybody loves to talk about money coming in. That beautiful building. Will, take it away.
Hello. So speaking of money coming in, I'm going to talk about fund development a little bit. So just to start off, Kendall mentioned the capital campaign and Jack Tarver Foundation's very generous commitments. So just this past year, we really launched a $3.75 million capital campaign to get this beautiful new building open and operational. That's going to take about 3 years. We've got right at $500,000 raised so far. Right now, where we stand in that, Cheryl and I are structuring caseloads. We're working with a major giving coach out of the Veritas Group, qualifying those caseloads and preparing for an effective campaign that we can be confident will bear fruit. So that's an exciting thing that we're going to be doing here in the next few years. As far as just our annual fundraising goals, our goal for 2021 overall is $840,300. That's going to come in, and you can see how everything's broken down right here in the slide. As you can see, the vast majority of that is individual contributions. Now, those come in via a pretty robust physical direct mail program that will be running monthly, a also robust direct emailing program that goes out to about 10,000 contacts. We'll be promoting planned giving. We'll be promoting, working on some corporate giving. The other part of the individual contributions will be, we're just starting up a new mid-major giving program. So we expect to see that start coming to fruition now. A major gift usually takes about 3 years to fully actualize. So we expect that program to really expand and become a major contributor to what we do over the next couple of years. It's very exciting. Just in going through our current donors, we've been blown away by the generosity that some people have and the consistency and loyalty that our donors have to this organization. Finally, you'll see special events. Now there's a corporate giving and there's special events. If you look at the way that our special events are formatted, the events themselves, as far as ticket sales go, do not generate that much revenue. Most of the special events revenue comes direct from corporate sponsorships. For example, Hughes Subaru had a $10,000 sponsorship for last year's chicken queue, and we'll continue finding those. That serves as a pipeline for them to become more direct corporate givers as well. And then finally, grants. Grants are not included in that $840,000 because they're a part of the admin budget. But the grants, we expect to bring in about $140,000 in grants. You met Cronwell a little bit earlier. Cronwell is our marketing and communications director, and his efforts support both our fundraising efforts and all of our program efforts. He really is just kind of the glue and the pizzazz that makes everything fun and exciting and effective. So our marketing supports everything that we do that brings in money, and just want to acknowledge that he's pretty awesome. So after we've gone through all this very quickly, we can get into many details on an individual basis. If you have any questions about how we raise funds or the details of our development plan and our marketing plan, you're more than welcome to contact me and ask. I just don't want to put you to sleep while you're here. So the last thing, board members, we're so happy to have you, and the best ways that y'all can help with our fundraising and our revenue generation is by friend raising. Talk to your friends, be an ambassador to the community, put us out on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your social media, and connect us with people who you think might be interested in making a commitment to our cause. And the other way is Cheryl or I will be sending you from time to time just a few folks who've been generous with their funds over the last week or so, and asking you to write them a personal thank you note. We found that the more you thank your donors, the more they're going to donate. We saw the fruits of that at the end of last year, after we effectively thanked and communicated with donors, really just from late May, early June through the end of the year, and raised $90,000 in just the month of December alone. So it's exciting. We're going to have a great year. It's going to be a lot of work, and I'm going to ask for your help from time to time. But as excited and skillful as y'all seem to be, I can't wait for what we're going to do together.
Thank you, Will. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes because we're going to talk about the strategic plan and really locking that down. We worked with our awesome board members over 3 sessions in late November and through mid-December to craft some capacity building initiatives to get us to the next level of growth and mission actualization over the next 12 to 18 months. Strategic plans are usually 3 to 5 years in length, but with so much shifting, growth, expansion, new capital campaign, moving out of one place, selling another place, living in a pandemic, things are not as solid as and predictive as we would like them to be. Nevertheless, we've never been more strategically positioned to really take the organization to the next level of growth. So you'll hear more about these initiatives and some sort of framework for describing them in the board meeting. But for now, the first initiative is, as Will alluded to, launch that capital campaign. And our objective is to fund a state-of-the-art spay-neuter clinic and shelter medicine teaching hospital, much in the manner of Greenville Humane Society, Asheville, Columbus, Ohio, their Humane Society, Oregon Humane Society, and an adoption center that also serves as community destinations that Athenians would be proud of. So there's a 2-phase. There's what's inside of the building, and then phase 2 is really putting the finishing touches on the campus through maybe green conservation resource use initiatives, creating tranquil gardens, interactive spaces where people can bring their pets to engage not only with their pets, but also their neighbors, their friends, have a great opportunity to volunteer. So rebranding us as not just a shelter, but as a community engagement campus. You'll hear more about that over the next year. And then the second strategic initiative is to serve as, fiscal leaders that steward our portfolio of revenue, much in the manner as any, Schwab or Morgan Stanley investment broker would, which is to reduce our vulnerability to the vagaries of whatever's going on in the economic landscape by growing, diversifying, and stabilizing our revenue streams. We're really happy about that. We work so hard to build a budget that is highly collaborative, predictive, and we're moving into multi-year predictive models, not only of revenue and multi-year budgeting, but also multi-year development and marketing strategies that mirror those initiatives. The third initiative is to position the Humane Society as a destination of choice for volunteers, including board members, to amplify our professional impact and individual impact, expand our community networks, and strengthen our community bonds. So you might have seen expressions of that as we have recruited you, how we recruit volunteers, and how we serve on commissions, collaborative efforts throughout our community. And then the last one is to take an active, visible leadership role, grounded in our own experience and collective expertise in issues related to the relationship between people and pets. And I'll tip my hat as a really interesting initiative that I've been approached about through Aaron Barger. Is if any of you are familiar with the Vision Athens initiative, it's a 475-page document about what is on deck for Athens in the future. Not one of those pages speaks to the relationship between pets and people. And so we will be joining the table as champions for that cause, and how we can work together to serve more vulnerable segments of our society and being leaders in that area. This is what we look like organizationally. We honor our board leaders. You're driving those strategic initiatives and being champions for that. I am your conduit to operations. You have one employee, and that's me. I have many masters. That's the jam. That's the thing. And then our lead team members who are on this call, on this meeting, lead and challenge our frontline staff and volunteers to really serve the mission. With that, I'll turn it over to Christina to talk about the board structure and the meeting.
Sorry, struggle there. I lost my mute button. So I'm just going to make this short and sweet to honor your time. So if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. So just a little bit about our board. So with you 5 joining us, we're now up to 8. I recently heard that there's nothing like a capital campaign to clear out your board, and it's true. So we're happy to have a bunch of committed people here with us. Our goal is to raise that to 15. Cheryl has some really good sheets that we can fill out about where we fall in the board, what skills we bring, and so we can fill in the gaps of what skills we would like to have on our board. In general, we run 3-year terms starting in January. And then you can run up to 2 consecutive terms. We are working on our committee structure. We have some committees already, but we are definitely looking for more, and also some recruitment to those committees as well too. And the lead of the committees might be responsible for the recruiting, but some like common committees are like the events committee, our financial committee. I'm sure there are some more that I'm not thinking of, but that's the kind of structure that we're looking at having. Next slide. So you got a Google Drive, and I think also a flash drive as well too, with a bunch of information in it. I tell you, when I joined the board, we didn't have any of this, and it's been a learning experience. So Cheryl put this packet together, and it is great. It'll definitely give you a really in-depth look at the financials, the policies, bios, all that fun stuff that you want to know about your board while joining it. She also has this book in there, the On the Move, the capital campaign case statement, and then that's a really good read. Next slide. Currently, I am your newly elected president with my vice president, Allison, who many of you met at the Southern Brewing the other night. And then currently we have Monica as our secretary. I think she is seeking to be replaced this year as a secretary. And then also I'm playing a dual role currently with being the treasurer and the lead of the finance committee. And I'm also looking to seek that being replaced as well too. So some things to think about between now and tomorrow's meeting. So like, where do you want this service to take you? You know, what kind of positions do you think you would be good for in this board? And then what that would look like for you as well too. And I think I have one more slide. Oh, and then just our meetings. So we meet 6 times a year, so every other month, which you can see from that slide there, the meetings currently. And currently we meet from 2 to 4. Cheryl and I talked this week, and we do think that until COVID is kind of calm in our community, after tomorrow's meeting, going forward, we'll probably move to an all virtual type until we just feel comfortable being around each other in the community. And then the structure of the meeting, and I think Cheryl talked to most of you guys about this too, or if not, we can just make sure we review it, is we use a consent agenda, which means that before the meeting, Cheryl will typically email out a huge pack of papers. It'll have her report, typically it'll have my report in there. It'll have reports from each of the department heads, our P&Ls, everything you would want to be updated about. And then you should review that before the meeting with specific questions marked. Or if you don't have any questions, then we can just pass the consent agreement at the beginning so that we can move on to new business. There's no need to read stuff that you can read beforehand. You know, we like to keep the meetings fun and exciting and not just a bunch of reports being read to us. So it's a great structure. This is actually the first board I've served on that uses this structure, and it's 1,000 times better than somebody reading a report to me. So I think that is my last slide. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to keep this super short because my intention is to meet with you individually via Zoom and talk about individual roles and responsibilities. By the way, these pet images are from our former board chair, Kim Chambers, and they're just lovely. But I love this guy. This guy's name is Johnson. He's like, what? Duties of obedience? Right. That's great. So this little BATS book, and I have, it's not cool to just scan them without purchasing them. So I do have hard copies, and when I see you, I'll just drop them off to you. But I wanted you to have it right away. It's a quick, easy read. Legally speaking, board members are bound by 3 aspects of their service: duties of care, duties of loyalty, and duties of obedience. And that sounds very dry and daunting, but basically, as you'll see in the BATS book, your duty of care is just to act in good faith, that you keep the organization's best interest at hand at all times. Your duty of loyalty means that you hold the best interest of the Humane Society over your own or that of any associates you have. So you're avoiding conflict of interest. And I have some annual paperwork from the IRS, whistleblower policy and conflict of interest for you to sign, and I'll get that to you. And then your duty of obedience is that you just adhere to any applicable state and federal laws, and that you conform with our governance documents and policies. Easy peasy. In practical terms, you set the organizational direction through that strategic plan. We have cleared the decks in our consent agenda format to talk about strategy and visionary policies, any initiatives. You provide good financial oversight. You work with Kendall and I to satisfy any questions you may have about that. You're reviewing financial documents on a monthly basis. And then you assist us in securing any necessary resources. So as Will alluded to, it might look like a personal gift, but it also might mean connecting with somebody in the community that Will or I have eyes on for a capital gift, or serving on a committee, whatever that looks like. So as you'll also read in the BATS book, individual board members don't have any quote unquote power or authority to act individually. Their expression and power comes through the collective role of the governance board. Individually, you help us secure those resources. You participate in our meetings, of course. You serve on a committee about which you have a particular interest. You serve as our community ambassador, as was alluded to. When we can hold events again post-COVID, you're attending and greeting people and acting as conduits to the community from the organization. I talked about this specifically with you individually and in the documents that you've received. We invite you to make a personally meaningful financial gift. There is no set amount. For some people that might be 50, for some it might be 50,000, who knows. We sort of adopt the NPR model. It's not what you give, but that you give. And that is important because institutional funders and savvy philanthropists want to know that our board has a 100% giving model, that if you have financial stake in the game, then they're more willing to invest as well. And so that's where we want you to be giving. But basically, we are not doing our job if we only ask for things from you. If we are not giving back to make sure that you're having a personally meaningful experience, then we're not honoring you. We serve as your best champions. Board members are special people, and we take that seriously. So with that, gosh, we are 7 minutes over. Do you have any questions, any comments, anything that you want to know more about? Anything that surprised you here in this presentation?
Cheryl, the only thing, just reading through some of the materials, and it was great, by the way, the packet, it was a little overwhelming, but it was really helpful to kind of, get some of the background, which, helped in this meeting as well. I just, one of the things I kind of gravitate to with any organization was, especially one that relies on funding, is, the financial statements. I assume 2020 was kind of a really abnormal year in some respects. Do you guys do any kind of like trending reports over a few year times? That's been done, if you could share that, or that would just help get grounded on, okay, what does a normal year look like?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I want to say that for some subsectors of the nonprofit sector, COVID has been an interesting blessing in disguise. Please take that with a grain of salt. But as people were home more, they found themselves adopting pets. And what we want to do, Tom, is to position ourselves in our donor's mind to think of us first. So the average person, the average donor gives to 8 organizations in somewhat marginal ways. When circumstances take a turn for the worse, which they inevitably do, what we know from decades of fundraising research is that those philanthropists pull back in their giving, and they give to maybe 2 or 3 organizations, and they give more to those. So through our stewardship and our thanking and really connecting with our donors in more personally meaningful ways, we have found that our donors have been exceptionally loyal, and Will has alluded to that. We also got a PPP loan of about 125K. So it wasn't the outlier that you might expect. We've done fairly well relative to some of our sister organizations. What you will expect to see over the course of the next year, now that we have an amazing operational budget that we've worked hard to craft, is a statement of activities to show how we came in actual versus what we expected. You'll get a balance sheet. You'll get an aging report of accounts receivables and accounts payable, and also a forecast. So our history has been remarkably spotty with regards to records. So our ability to really call back historically is handicapped in many ways. That's not the case for our donor records. So we'll move in that direction. But yes, you will see more forecasting. You will see more forecasting in the future. Thank you for asking that.
And I was just going to add that, yeah, for as far as like looking back, the information just isn't useful because it has so many holes, as Cheryl said. But moving forward, since we have been able, I'm cleaning up QuickBooks still. And so once that's all clean and tidy, everything y'all get will be, you know, what it needs to be. And in a couple of years, we will be able to look back and see growth and improvement.
I think Tom will have some insights too about, you know, what we've inherited in terms of our financial footprint. What else? Did anything surprise you about what you learned about programs? Anything you didn't expect that we did that just made your heart sing?
I had a question where you were talking about the program of transporting animals, loading them in the vans out of state. So I'm assuming the reason you're transporting them out of state is that we facility-wise don't have space, or in other places out of state have a larger facility. I was curious about that.
Yeah, great question, because yeah, a lot of people say, why do that? Even I had my own personal quarrels with it in the beginning, but yeah, so with winter being harsher, that's just a natural thing that causes them to not have so many overpopulated pets, because basically here, you know, a dog jumps the fence, gets lost in the woods. Here we are 2 years later, and we're still seeing litters emerge from everywhere. And Georgia is probably one of the worst, the Southeast in general, but Georgia's pretty lax on spay and neuter laws, pet registrations, just good stewardship of people owning their pets. And so there is such an abundance here that we physically, even with all of our coalitions and partnerships and major groups, you know, we have kind of a group in every county in our Athens area, but even then, there's still more. And then you have the ones from the owners and the public. So it's a way to not bring them into our facilities, save that space for the ones coming in from other avenues, but also the ones in the north. They're really geared up for transports. They typically have transport programs and bays where, you know, 9 cars pull in, they spay and neuter everybody, they do adoption events for $25. So pets aren't you know, wintering well there. People have a better sense of what it is to own a pet, so they're typically fixed, they're typically vaccinated. A lot of states offer pet registration where you have to have them fixed or vaccinated, and it goes into, you know, the county database. We just do not have that here. And so with their available space and willingness to pay sometimes for these pets, we can actually make money on the program, which is kind of where we were prior to COVID. We would spend $1,000 and, you know, maybe get $2,000 back for the driver and the gas and things like that. But yeah, they have the space, they have the know-how and the care that some don't in the Southeast. And then there's just such an abundance that it's kind of one of the only avenues to get them out alive, unless we were physically housing them. So space also comes into that.
That's great. That's great to know, and it's great that there's the communication and that there's that opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Currently, with the woman that I helped kind of start the program originally when we were with fur kids, she goes out probably twice a week now. We used to go out maybe once a month, and now she is partnering. I mean, there's probably 37
Mm.
counties, if not more, that participate in the program.